Good afternoon. My name is Margiana Antunes, Transition Specialist for Partners Resource Network. We are a nonprofit agency that operates the Texas statewide network of parent training and information centers. The PTI projects known as PATH, PAN, and TEAM are funded by the U.S. Department of Education, Office of Special Education Programs, OSEP. This provides training, education, information, referral, support, and individual assistance in obtaining appropriate services. Welcome to our Texas Autism Supplement Facebook series, part 5. Joining me today is Christina Henning, Director of Statewide Services for PRN. She will be helping with the slides transitions and will provide any technical assistance if needed. This is a pre-recorded session where we are answering questions live during this presentation. So if you have any question, post them in the comment box and we will be happy to help. The Texas Autism Supplement, part 5, strategies 8 is communication intervention, and strategies 9 is social skill supports and strategies. Christina, we can go to the next one. Throughout the week, we have been talking about the Autism Supplement and its strategies, and these are the goals that we have set for ourselves. We have to provide an overview of the 2008 Autism National Rates. We would like to help you understand what is included in the Texas Autism Supplement and to understand how to have access to each of those strategies during your ART or IEP meeting. And finally, to provide an overview of the Autism Supplement strategies and how to use them. Next. All right, so from Monday until today, we have been repeating several ideas that I would like for us to repeat again today, so we can go back and once this video is done, or maybe in a couple of days, or maybe your art meeting is coming up, or maybe already passed, but you still have questions about this particular part. If you would like to review the rules for the Autism Supplement, you need to visit the Commission of Rules Concerning Special Education Services, section 89.1055. And then on letter E, you will find all the 11 strategies listed and what is expected for the schools to provide and what to look at. Then the next idea that you need to remember is that the Texas Autism Supplement, it's a document and a process. It's a document, as I've explained before, because it's an insert of 2 or 3 pages that it will be included in your ART paperwork, your IEP paperwork. It's usually at the very end. And it's also a process because you don't get, or the ART committee don't get to choose strategies just by picking or by saying, well, okay, now we're going to try strategies 3 and 5. No, you need to sit down, you need to go over each one of them which apply to your child, and also look at the needs, the present needs. And where do we find the present needs? As we explained before, we find the present needs in the PLAF. The PLAF will be found in your ART paperwork, and most likely is at the very beginning, or, let's say after the presentation, after the invitation, and after we state all the background information for the child, then after that you will find the present levels of academic achievement and functional performance. Then after that, after we have the present levels or the needs, or we know the needs, then we need to review what have been done in regards to those particular needs. And if nothing has been done, then we need to go back and sit down and see what are the needs, the present needs, what the student is showing in the classroom, what the student is showing at home or in the community, and then evaluate what is needed. These strategies are the strategies that are used for each one of these 11 points are not just anything. We cannot just use whatever we come up with. We need to use the strategies that are based on peer review or research-based or evidence-based. That's very, very important. And we have offered in our videos before, I think it was yesterday or the day before, some links in which you can go click on those and then review what are those evidence-based strategies And also you can visit websites that we have provided to check on behaviors and see what is being suggested to use as evidence-based or peer-reviewed strategies or evidence-based strategies. And finally, the consideration, every time you go to your annual R or your child's annual R, the consideration of these strategies does not imply that this will be used or that this will be approved to help your child or to complement your child's IEP. Remember also that some of these strategies, once they are approved to be used, they need to either go through evaluation or, well, first of all, approval. And then after that, usually many of them, you will require, if there is no sufficient data, to request evaluations, additional evaluations will take, some more time. And then you have to go back to it, review the findings, and then after that, approve the use of certain strategies. These strategies, most likely, once you get an evaluation, will have to be incorporated also in the IEP. Not all of them, but the majority of them, especially ones, like for instance, today we're talking about communication, social skills, they're usually included in the IEP goals. Next one. All right, so strategy A is communication interventions. Communications and social skills are defining traits for autism, no matter whether you are low or high functioning or in the middle. It doesn't matter, PDD, NOS, you will always see that the students, whether they have a complete lack of these skills or have no communication, or they have communications, they can communicate and they have some social skills, but these are not consistent, these are not at their age level, these are not shown in all environments, in all settings, or parents will have to undergo a series of steps to help the students to show these skills. And in any of these situations, well, there is a need for the strategy A or the strategy 9, which we will explain later on. You don't have to have a full lack of a skill, or a student doesn't have to show no skills or zero skills for these students to be able to receive the services or the strategies or the accommodations through a strategy A or strategy 9. If a student doesn't show, in the case of the strategy A, communication interventions, if the student doesn't show skills in the areas of speech or communications and expressive, receptive, and pragmatic language, then this student most likely will need the strategy A and interventions in that particular area. And going back to what I have wrote in here, the communication interventions go beyond the speech therapies. The social communication, as I said, it's not just because your child received speech services in the areas of maybe expressive or receptive, that doesn't mean that we don't have to consider a strategy A. Maybe the student will need additional supports, additional strategies to address the communication need. And in some cases, as I said, low technology strategies or interventions like the PECs, those cards with images, they're usually used in the pre-K settings, the PPCD settings. The students start learning what each one of those cards means, and then they use those cards to communicate or just to point what they need and what they want. Maybe that's not enough. Maybe sign language, a combination of those might not be enough. So evaluations in the areas of assistive technology and the augmentative devices for communication might be needed to assist the students to fully support a development in the area of communication. Remember, communication and behavior are very tied together. If your student doesn't have a means to communicate, to express what they need, what they want, most likely you'll start seeing behaviors, unwanted behaviors. So we don't want that. If we click on the assistive technology augmentative devices link, I would like to show you the website from Region 4, what is managed by Region 4? Belongs to Region 4, the Texas Assistive Technology Network. And then if you go down, this is the legal module. You go down, we can see that you can, as a parent, you can go ahead and review this particular website, because if your child is in need for an assistive technology evaluation, I believe that this website will provide you more information, that technical information and legal information of what is it that they need to look after when you do an assistive technology evaluation, specifically for communication. They also have for writing and for reading, for those who are looking into those areas. But it explains all the different aspects of providing assistive technology as through a strategy, as maybe an accommodation or a related services, or maybe included in the IP goal. I really would like for you to, whenever you have a chance, take a look at this AT if you feel that the services or the interventions used so far for to support communication have been proven non-effective or somewhat effective, but you feel that there's something else that can be done. I think it's important to learn how this evaluation works, and what is the scope of what it's been looking at, and how the student needs and the service for the assistive technology can meet to get a strategy, or to decide on a strategy that will most likely be effective for your child. Christina, we can go back. Okay, we can go back to the next one. All right, so in general, more than one method can be used for communication. So not only PEGs or maybe scripts, like I said in the examples at the bottom, or prompts to tell the student to either produce language or approximation of a word, or emerging skills for communication. But maybe a combination will be the best way to go as a parent, just to make sure that we are trying the strategies that we feel that they complement each other based on your student needs. And a lot of that information you will get after you request an evaluation, a specific evaluation for using particular strategies throughout the strategy A in your next R meeting or IEP meeting. And like I said before, these strategies, once they are approved and once they are part of your child's educational programming, they should be incorporated or reflected in your IEP, and sometimes also in the BIP, because like I said, behavior and communication are linked, are intertwined. Christina, the next one. All right, strategy 9. This will be the last strategy that we're going to explain. And remember that there's not just 9 strategies, there are 11 strategies in total. This one is social skills supports and strategies. Several things I had to say about this one, but first let's just read the slide. As in communication, social skills, the lack of social skills or some social skills or consistent social skills are a trait for autism and pervasive developmental disorders, Asperger's. Many times the students don't know how to interact. They want to interact, but they don't know how to do it. And so this is when social skills training comes into. They usually at schools, they have a curriculum to follow, and the provision of these particular strategies, the social skills, are based on, again, either assessments, observations, or requests of maybe a consideration of the functional skills, as well as for communications. So if we look at the functioning skills of the student, the functional needs, that will be a good area to look at to review whether we need or not to find strategies to put in place for communication and social skills. And social skills go further than manners, so it's just not for them to learn to say thank you and excuse me, but also to go beyond that, to be able to interact and to be able to understand the nonverbal or communication, or when a situation is given, they don't know what to do or how to defend themselves, or how to advocate for themselves, or how to interact with others, because they don't know the best way to do all these skills that for the rest of us, it's just natural. We know when to copy others, we know when to repeat what others are saying or not. We know we are able to see that students with autism spectrum don't do this naturally. They need to be taught, and the teaching of these strategies, the teaching or the acquisition of these skills, it's not going to happen from one day to the next. So the sooner you start, the better. And it says here, some of the teaching skills, it's better to teach those in context and real world situations. That's going to be, it requires the cooperation of all, because especially in elementary, middle school, and high school, the environments and the settings are very different. And maybe you can have a group, when you're in elementary, you have a group of kids that you might pull out of the classroom. They all have autism or pervasive developmental disorders. You might pull them out of the classroom, you sit with them, and then you go over some social skills that you would like to share with them and you would like for them to develop. But then when they go to the classroom, back to the classroom, and they are, they're very good at learning the skills. It's just to put in practice what most of them, and I tell you this just because of my own experience, is very difficult to put into practice. So reviewing social skills in your art committee, it's very important. Sometimes social skills are covered through IEPs, through specific goals are going to help, and most likely they're tied with speech pathologies and maybe the psychological services. But it's very important that you review your art paperwork, and then you see that there are no goals addressing social skills. There should be the consideration of this particular strategy, because again, kids in the autism spectrum or with autism, no matter what the range is, high functioning, low functioning, they all need to work on social skills, not just because it's going to be beneficial for them to adjust to their classroom, to the maybe the community, or when they're at home with other people that is not just the family but other friends, but also because they will need these skills to be able to be independent once they graduate from high school. Next one, Christina. And these are some examples which is full for social skills. And it's important to have facilitators that are trained to provide the social skills. So you can use video modeling. Sometimes, in school for my child, they will send either the speech or the psychologist will send a form in which they are requesting parents' permission to record your child, because once they record their child, they can use that video to show them what they're doing, and then to explain what they, what would you do in this situation? This is what you did, but what could have done better? What other options to address the same situation? Just yesterday, my child's school psychologist sent me an email saying that this is what we did yesterday, and she sent me a picture. They have a social skills group in the school, and they were using a diagram on the floor, and they were supposed to, everybody come, and at different stages they will explain, well, this is the situation and this is how you will address it. So they mix 7th grade and 8th graders to put together and try to address an issue. But I thought that the good thing about this particular strategy used yesterday for my son's school or social skills group was that they're also incorporating the peer modeling, which I don't have here, but you have the peer modeling. It means that you don't need a video, but you bring somebody else, most likely older than you are, or older than some of the students. And then these older students, that they also are in the spectrum, will tell those younger students, well, if this situation happens to me, this is the way I will do it. We can do the same peer modeling in elementary and also in high school. So just so you know that the social skills, there is a myriad of strategies, a myriad of intervention and curriculums out there that can be incorporated in the school setting. The issue with them is the consistency, as with every other intervention. The consistency, the follow through, the collection of data, and also the evaluation of the effectiveness of the strategy. If we do the progress monitoring, we will make sure whether, if we are seeing that our children are able to use the skills that they were learned or teaching in the school, and then we see that they're doing the same at home, they're using them, we see that they're also generalizing that to the community, then we know that that particular strategies or set of strategies are effective. Otherwise, then we know that we have to call again in our meeting maybe, or sit down and say, we need to review because these skills are not working. But my point is that there are plenty of strategies you can use for social skills, role-playing, conversation strips, and these skills can be adjusted by age level or developmental level. But please don't wait for the school to tell you we should work on social skills, and don't wait until middle school to start working on social skills, or maybe even high school to work on social skills. We have to start doing that since our kids are very, very little. The earlier the intervention, the better outcomes that we will get. And then I wanted to go and click on the Autism Speak and Social Skills. This is Autism Speak's website. And the reason why I would like to show you this, I like very much the information from Autism Speaks in general terms. And you can go ahead and read what are social skills, and they tell you what they are and what they focus are, and who can teach the social skills. We drop down. It's very interesting, as they see occupational therapists, behavioral therapists, school psychologists, general education teachers. And why is this important? PE teachers. Well, this is important because once you have a goal included in your child's IEP for social skills, usually you'll check who will be in charge of this particular goal. And then they usually check the psychologist, or maybe they check the speech pathologist. But it will be even better if you check a lot of these individuals participating in the school setting, because more individuals involved in a particular, or especially a social skills goal, then you'll know that in all those different environments, with all those different people, your child will be practicing the same skill consistently. So that's what we will look at. And then, we will scroll down. You will see social skill groups, how do they work? And there's a video of a program, I believe it's called Peers. It's in California. You can take a look at that. Obviously, we're not in California, but what might be interesting for us is to look at their curriculum and what they do. I know that there are many groups, private groups here in Texas, and especially the Houston and Katy area where I live, that they provide social skill training for kids on the spectrum. Sometimes I think that we don't have enough, because either you have groups for the very little ones from pre-K or maybe elementary school, and then you have for those who already graduated from high school, but then nothing in between, or very few of those in between. And it's very challenging to bring those, plus very expensive. So I feel that a good starting point for our families will be to look at what it can be done in your school through the art community. And I believe the art community can help a lot. Also, remember that their summer programs. Maybe a good idea will be for your child to participate in summer school programs from the school district, and maybe with some accommodations or some, they usually, these programs, because I have called for my own son, they usually do offer people that might be able to assist your children, if they participate in these programs, which is open to every child in the district, but working on social skills all year round, that should be the goal. It's not the way that it usually goes, but it should be the goal. Christina, we can go back to the previous slide. All right, so and that's the end of our last strategy, strategy 9, social skills. But I invite you to attend to our statewide webinars. We have had webinars, state webinars in the past. They're already recorded. But if you check that website, the link that is provided there, you will be able to look at our past webinars and our coming webinars. And they have they're addressing a myriad of topics in the special education. And I'm sure that plenty of them will be very useful to you. Also join us on Facebook. You click on our link shown on screen. You will be able to see this recording again. You will be able to access to previous recording or future recordings. You will be able to look also at our posting. Every day we post many resources and information that are very useful and they're very up to date. So I invite you to, if you're a new parent or maybe you're a veteran already of the special education system, maybe it would be, from time to time, brush on some skills. And in our Facebook page has plenty of resources for you to look at. Next. Thank you very much. Again, this is Margiana Antunes, translation specialist for Partners Resource Network. There's my phone number and email address. The questions for this is a pre-recorded video, but if you have any questions, post them on the comment box and I will be looking at them and we will address them as they come, and we will be looking at all this week and the next week. But if you have, you would like to reach out for more individualized assistance, please do not hesitate to send us an email and we will put you in contact with our regional coordinators. Thank you very much.